Tragedy that took place in Utah with the shooting death of Charlie Kirk, conservative Republican young fella who was an advocate and a true supporter of Donald Trump. And what are the telltale signs to this? One, we have never seen anything like this before. This is the first time in American history, through the advent of social media and advanced technology, where you had a guy who wrote several books, never went to college, uh, built an audience on social media, and was going on a college tour campaign to talk about his views, and he loved to debate. This gentleman was 31 years old, married with two children, and unfortunately, it looks like there was an assassination upon his life. This is the first time uh, in my existence where there is such an emotional boil with President Donald Trump, even more so than when Barack Obama became the first black president. I thought there was going to be a lot of not only Democrat and Republican controversy, but black-white issues, and there was probably a subservient underbelly that was taking place during Barack Obama's tenure. But the vocalization that you're hearing under this Trump administration, under this second term, is just unimaginable. I get into conversations. So you have a situation, especially as a black person. If you agree with anything that Donald Trump says, people assume that you're a sellout and you're a Republican. It's as if black Democrats feel that Donald Trump is 100% incorrect. And nothing in life is absolute. There could be some good things that President Trump is doing, and there could be some bad things that the Democrats have done for 50 years. But for this assassination to take place, this political assassination is what they're calling it, to take place in today's time, it's giving you a telltale sign. And what does it tell you? So for people that are on social media that are giving their political or their personal opinion about all kinds of issues that are taking place, you got to be careful, including myself. I try to have a social, cultural, social, economic video channel where I talk about all kinds of issues that are not just all black, but are human in its essence. I try to be right there in the middle. Um, there are times when white Republicans can be correct, and there are times when black Democrats can be correct. But there is such a fervor of this essence of high emotion that has taken place under this second Trump administration. And of course, with all of his executive orders, um, you have one side that looks at it from a Democratic standpoint that he's trying to be a dictator. He wants to control everything. But in my essence, I look at it as this is a time where we should have a heightened exuberance for learning about legislation and the laws. Everything that every executive order that Trump puts out there is not going to stick. But he has every right as the executive chief and the president or the or the governor of the United States to institute his own ideologies and perceptions. But what you have to worry about now is for people that support him, and under this situation with the shooting death of Charlie Kirk, that you got to be careful out here. This is the most heightened emotional two-party system that I've ever seen. I've gotten into disagreements with folks, black and white, who are anti-Trump. And if I agree with one or two things that Trump says, they think I'm pro-Trump, and I'm an independent. I actually did not vote for Trump or Kamala Harris. And then one has to take a measure on what was the lesser of the two evils. There's a lot of political hate conservatives versus liberals, Democrats versus Republicans. And it's ironic that you got to remember Trump got shot a year or two ago during his election campaign in Minnesota. You had a white female who was in the House delegates that got murdered, and I think her husband got shot. There's been several campus shootings, college campus shootings at Villanova, Emory University. There's been several campus protests over the last year with the Hamas war, or the Gaza Strip war with Hamas and Israel. At your Ivy League institutions, even some of your Ivy League presidents have ended up resigning and leaving. We are in a boiling point in America where if you state your opinion and it does not sway with the people that you're sitting around, you could be castigated and demonized based on your political opinion. I've never seen anything like this. I thought it would happen during the Barack Obama 8-year administration, but no, Trump is pushing buttons that is dually affecting both parties in a major way. But with Charlie Kirk, who's really a social media, who was a social media star, this is the first time you've seen an assassination attempt in that level. So vocalizing your opinion in a public forum, you got to be very careful. Having your own YouTube channel, TikTok channel, yeah, you are creating fame and you're creating a base that loves you, but you're also creating a base that does not like you at all. So we have to be very, very careful. God only gave you 2 eyeballs, but there are multiple eyeballs that are watching everything that you do. And I think it's ironic that it happened in Utah. You would think that would be one of the most safest states in the country and in our union. Utah, Salt Lake City. And of course, Utah had some negative media news lately with Brian Colber, with the murders at the university there. And then now you have this that I think is going to supersede that situation with Brian Colber, who took a plea deal for allegedly killing those 4 or 5 students at the university. But they're calling this a political assassination. And there's a lot going. We got a lot of guns on the street. The NRA is Republican based. And most people will tell you that it's not the guns, it's the people. But easy access and having too many of them on the street, legal and illegal, can permeate and intensify the opportunity for this kind of chaos and the kind of weapons that we are producing. These semi-automatic weapons that can go through Velcro and armor. What is the point and the purpose? Then they said that Charlie Kirk got shot at least 200 yards, that the assassin was at least 200 yards away. That's 2 football fields. So this person knew what they were doing. And I would highly tell you, and it was highly likely, and this is not race baiting, that it was probably a young white male in his same age category. This is not something that you typically see with black males in violence. Young black males commit violence against other young black males. And to have a targeted shooter to be able to hit him in the neck under a tent 200 yards away, that was by design, and that was calculated over a long period of time. So I think the suspect that they're looking for, and again, not race baiting, I think is a young white male. And for it to happen at Utah Valley State University. As I said, there's a lot of stuff going on our campuses. There's our universities, and especially our major universities, And our elite institutions are propaganda machines. And you've had major protesting during the Gaza Strip war with Israel and Palestine. You have university presidents that have stepped down. There is a lot going on, and we're reaching a boiling point uh, that is Charlie Kirk's death the tip of the iceberg or just the beginning of more of this kind of arbitrary shooting taking place based on your uh, political, social, psychological views. Um, we have multiple formats where you can say whatever you want. I think one of the big time uh, social media stars that's similar to Charlie Kirk, but as black as Charleston White. And this might be a wake up call for Charleston White. He just had a situation where he was at an HBCU and he walked out of there and left the campus in an uproar and arguing with folks. He may have to be careful. Charleston White says a lot of controversial things that push the button of especially black folks. Um, and so he could become a target, which I hope does not happen. But this is a very interesting time based on politics. And whether you're black or white, definitely if you're black and Republican, you're an Uncle Tom, you're a sellout. Even if you're independent and agree with a few of the ideologies of the Republican Party and not going with the mainstay of identity politics, uh, you're considered an outcast in the black community, such as a Charleston White. But this is a shocker. No matter what color you are, we are losing our humanity each and every day. Our ethical and moral compass is lowering every day. Our public safety is lowering every day. There are crimes being committed on our public transportation uh, systems in many of our major cities. You heard about. Hopefully, you've heard about the young lady, that white female that got stabbed to death on a transit system in Charlotte, North Carolina, by a black man who had been arrested over 10 times and let out. There is a lot of stuff going on, not only from a political party standpoint, but from a racial identity standpoint. And are we going to have civil unrest as a result? Um, this person that shot Charlie Kirk shot him over 200 yards away under a tent in the neck. This is a person that knew how to use a weapon. And this was not a situation that it was random and arbitrary. And it should be a wake up call to all of us. Charlie should be able to have his political views and his aspirations without worrying about his health, wealth, and welfare. You should be able to voice your opinion. If we're in the land of the free, and it seems like that freedom is being castigated and being manipulated and being shortened and squeezed uh, to a certain extent by you voicing your opinion, even on a public platform like YouTube or um, some of your other social media platforms, Instagram. Um, you got to be very careful on how you walk around. There are more eyeballs watching you than you watching them. Um, TikTok is another one. So you're going to garner fans, but you're going to also garner hatred. And I wanted to get on here and do a live just off the top of my dome and from my heart that I feel for Charlie Kirk's family, even though I may not have agreed with even 90% of some of the things that he talked about. I didn't follow him religiously, but for him to be a young white male Republican and in support of Trump, he still has a right to life and to breathe fresh air and to raise his family and see his kids grow up. and to be shot down and gunned down in probably you would think one of the safest states in America. This is in Utah. I don't know what the crime statistics are, uh, but you just don't think that you would hear about this in Utah. And for him to go on this college campus tour that he was starting, there is a lot of rumblings. College campuses are not just about education anymore. There is a political agenda that's being driven through these protests, through a lot of the administrators and presidents that are leaving and dealing with the school boards. There is a lot going on right about now, and I think people need to take a deep breath, live a positive, righteous, and God-fearing life, and everything should not be solved by gun violence. There are about 3 or 4 things that are at the precipice, and there's a panacea that's going on in our community that is destroying us each and every day, both physically, mentally, emotionally, and psychologically. The opioid crisis, homelessness, fatherless homes, inept inner city public schools, and gun violence. And unfortunately, Charlie Kirk is going to go down as a martyr. Um, and this was a political assassination. And was it worth it? But some of these people, there's a certain level of helplessness and hopelessness and undiagnosed mental illness. That is at the top. The opioid crisis, homelessness, inept inner city public schools, fatherless homes, gun violence, and untreated and undiagnosed mental health issues. There has to be something diabolical going on inside you for you to decide to make a decision that you're going to kill somebody based on their political views and or aspirations. This was an unfortunate scenario, and we should be able to have race and political conversations without it ending up with unfortunate and harmful violence. Tell me what you think. This has been a Trevor Donald Experience. Manifest your truth.